if I'm the only one that has ever recorded a session and was immediately like, no, like, no.
Welcome to Lost Girl Therapy. This is super common. So when I was in grad school, I did my graduate degree at BC, and we didn't really talk about how this particular profession of mental health counseling ties heavily to our relationship with self-worth. Helping professions in general can have a direct relation to how we feel about ourselves, because when we show up in session, we're taught to be genuine, empathetic, to show up as fully as we can as ourselves in order to offer support, guidance, clinical skills to our clients. But that doesn't always mean that we can show up 100%, or even if we are showing up 100%, that the session is going to go well. And there's a variety of reasons for it. We could have stuff going on in our lives that makes us distracted. Our clients could have something going on that they're not sharing. There could be Mercury in retrograde. There could be traffic before they come to see us. Like, there's 100 million different reasons why a session can go not the way that we intended. And I think what's really important is separating our self-worth from that, while also being able to recognize what role we play in that. So that's why supervision is so important. I got really lucky that I had a supervisor who not only honed my clinical skills both in graduate school and in my first job, but they also offered support for discussing what it was like to become a clinician. It is your first time. It was my first time. And every time we did role plays, or even with like some of my first clients when I was doing my internships, like, you're learning an entirely new skill set that you're not trained in. And it's hard to find your footing. And one of the things that I really grappled with, which I know a lot of other new therapists grapple with, is who am I to this person and how am I showing up? And if something doesn't land, or if I feel disconnected from a client, how do I then hold space for reviewing my side of this equation and also separating my self-worth from it? The other thing that I will say that became really important is having friends who are also going through it with you. Like, having a community as a therapist is so important. I got really lucky that I had friends in grad school that I'm still friends with to this day, who I reach out to for support if I have a session that just like doesn't go well, or if I'm going through it, or if the week feels like one of those weeks where you just don't feel connected to anybody, and that will happen. And it's really important because they are also having that shared experience, and they're able to say, like, what's going on? How do you feel? And I think having individuals who also have that lived experience can really kind of take that self-worth hyper-awareness down to a lower level, and allow us to put a separation between the work that we do and the person that we are. It's just something that we're not naturally taught in graduate school, but if you can hone that skill, if you can say, like, yep, this didn't land. Let me take a look at why. What was I bringing to the table? What was I not bringing to the table? What were the circumstances? And kind of do so like objectively, without tying in how we feel about ourselves. The work becomes a little bit easier. I at least have noticed with clients where I really have tied my self-worth to them, where I'm just like, I want you to like me. Those sessions are so much harder, and it actually becomes a more challenging relationship later on, because we are bringing stuff to the table that should not be in session with us.